is working. Multiply polynomials. When we are multiplying polynomials, we're going to work from left to right. And we'll begin by multiplying like terms. So when we are multiplying variables, we add the exponents. So if we have a squared times a to the fourth, we will add these exponents because we have a like term here, which is a. So we keep a and we go 2 plus 4, which then becomes a to the 6. And if there is no exponent, we assume the exponent is 1. This is for if we had just say b, like c squared b, this b is understood that it has just an exponent of 1 right here. Now let's do an example. Example 1, simplify the following expression. So we have 2a times everything in this parentheses, which is 21a to the third plus 7a squared plus 1. So like before, we're just going to first go ahead and multiply this number by this first term, then the second, and then the third. So for this first one, we got 2a times 21a to the third. So we can get our calculators out, and we can go 2 times 21, which is equal to 42. So we have 42. Then we have this a, which is just to be understood that there's a 1 there. So we have a1 and a to the third. So when we multiply like terms, we keep the base and we add the exponents. So it's 1 plus 3. Then we look at the next term because we're going to go plus. Now we have 2a to the first times 7a squared. So 2 times 7 is 14. Then we have a to the first times a squared. So we keep the same base of a, and it's 1 plus 2 this time. Next we go 2a times this 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, and there isn't any variable, so it's just keep it as just a. And we can show the exponent of just 1. Next thing we need to do is just add our exponents right here like this. So it's 1 plus 3. So that becomes 42a to the fourth power plus 14a to the third plus 2a. Or you put the 1 right there. Either way we'll take, and is the right answer. Now let's do another example. Example 2. Simplify the following expression. Now we have, this one is negative 4ab to the third. And we're going to multiply by each term inside the parentheses. So we have now a negative term. So negative 4ab to the third times this b. This b really has a 1 out in the front of it. So negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Then we have a. There's no a here, so we'll just leave it as just a here. So what we do is we keep b, our base, the variable the same, and then we go 3 plus 1 as we add the exponents. Essentially what it's asking is b to the third times b, which is really showing b times b times b times this other b. So another way to look at this is when we add them all together, because there's 4 b's, it's just b to the fourth. So that's what we're doing. That's why we add the exponents. So this would be b to the fourth. But we'll just move on. So now we have this negative 4ab to the third times this 7a. But we have a negative out in front. So a negative times a negative is positive. 4 times 7 is 28. Then we have a and an a. So we have a to the first power, because we have one right here and one right here. So it's 1 plus 1. Then we don't have a b for the second term, so we're just going to keep this b to the third as is. And then lastly, we're going to need to multiply the last term, which is the 6ab. So negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. Then we have a here and an a here. So the exponents are just 1 for each one. So it's just 1 plus 1 as we add exponents for the same variable. Then we have b to the third times this b. So we go 3 plus 1. Now let's go ahead and rewrite this. So we have negative 4 a b to the fourth plus 28 a squared b cubed minus 24 a squared b to the fourth power. So this would be our final answer. Now let's do one final example. Example 3. Simplify this following expression. So we have negative 3bc, and we're going to have to go ahead and multiply it by each term inside. So negative 3bc times this first term. So negative 3 times 2, so that is just negative 6. Notice we just have a b and a c. So this first term, when we multiply, has an a squared. So we'll just leave this as is, because we don't need to multiply by anything else, because there's no a, so there's no other like term like it. Next we do b. So we have b to the first power and b to the fourth. So we go 1 plus 4. Then we look at c. So we have c to the first power and just a c to the first power here. So c is 1 plus 1. Next, we move to the next term. So we have negative 3 times this 3. So we get negative 9. This also has an a squared, and this one doesn't have an a, so we'll just leave a squared by itself. Then we have a b here and a b here. So we're going to need to go ahead and add those exponents. So it's 1 plus 1. Then we can move on to c. We have a 1 here, and then we have a 2 here. So we add those exponents, so 1 plus 2. And then the last thing we need to do is go ahead and multiply this negative 3 times negative 4, which is positive 12. And then we just have a b. There's no b here, so we can just leave this by itself. And then we have c1 plus 1. So when we rewrite this, this is negative 6 a squared b to the fifth c squared minus 9 a squared b squared c to the third plus 12 bc squared. This would be our final solution.